And so when you
Yeah,
ask that question, go ahead.
that makes sense. Here's the issue. I didn't make a statement of fact. Someone else presented the proposition that there's a designer of anything, right?
That's not what we're discussing. What we're
That's what the
discussing is,
original discussion was,
I
Darth. Like I
understand
said,
that,
you've
but my
dragged the
response,
goalposts so far
no, I
away
didn't.
from that we're
No,
talking about
no,
something else now.
no. My response to you is that either your response to that gentleman, his name was Full, that your response was one of either negation of what he is saying, or it is one where you are expressing neutrality. That was what was my response to you. Now, before we go on, is it clear that my immediate response to you was to say that your response to him was either one of negation or neutrality? Are we clear on that?
I could see how you would think that. So yeah,
No,
okay.
that okay.
That's a
That is
sleazy. That
another
was sleazy.
that's
You
another.
know,
See, this is
that
what you
was a
were.
clear
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
You know better than that.
Listen.
You're not a
Yeah,
stupid guy, Mulder. You're
I'd
not a
ask you
stupid guy.
to remove if he gives another clearly deceptive evasionary response to remove him. Now, your response to what Foll was saying, he was making an appeal to intelligent design. Okay, to a designer. Now, your response to him, regardless of how it was worded, was either an expression of negation or one of neutrality where you're just an innocent bystander. Okay? That was my initial point. Are we clear on that?
Yes, but that's not my initial position.
Okay. Now, is it your position that when you respond with your words to what Full said, is it your position that you are negating what he says, or you're just verbalizing incredulity and neutrality?
No, I'm either neutral or positive or negative on the proposition, but I
That is
needed
not an answer to
evidence
my
in order to
question.
make a determination on one of those.
He is okay. I would give him one more chance because that answer was a purposely worded diversionary response. Now,
All answers are purposely worded.
your response. No, I'm talking about that you were purposely being diversionary.
No, I'm
Okay?
purposely clarifying
Okay.
my
Listen one
position
more time.
because you misrepresented.
Your response to Fall was conveying either that of negation to what he was saying, or you were just spouting incredulity and that you were a neutral bystander. Which is it?
Again, he made a statement that I could not take a position on without something to back up the statement.
Okay, that's not an answer to my question. Were you espousing negation or neutrality?
Again, I wasn't taking any position.
Okay. All right. So you're
We're gonna
claiming
move on.
neutrality?
I'm
Yeah,
removed to the audience. We're moving
okay. The
on.
guy, look. We're not dealing with people that have a subpar IQ. We are dealing with people who, when we ask them questions or we try to make points in order to build on it to result in theological significance, okay, they don't want to concede to certain uncontroversial points because it will lead to theological significance. So what they do is they do what he did. Sometimes they do it more cordially, but they play this diversionary game. It's divert, obfuscate, prevaricate, rabbit trail.
I'm gonna
This is
I'll speak to Mulder. I'm gonna ask him
Yeah,
what Mulder you're
my
gonna have to
apologies,
say.
Jay. This is your room. You can
why
take it
why do
what
why do,
direction.
why do you keep on giving this guy unlimited chances when it is clear he's purposely being deceptive and evasive? Why do you do that?
I'm gonna speak to him.
I love that.
So you're going to give him another chance to continue his deceptive evasion.
Well, if I don't want to talk to him at a certain point, I'm going to tell him. But at this point, I do want to talk to him. There have been points where I want to cut off conversations with somebody, but this is not one of those times. I didn't have a conversation with Mulder.
So he
Full.
gets away when I ask him a serious, legitimate questions. He completely gets a get out of jail free card to be absolutely transparently evasive.
The question
So
was clear, and he never
you
answered
just
it.
allowed him. I'm going to shut up in a second. Okay, this is your room. Okay, I'm not objecting to how you're doing things, but I'm just going to say one more thing. You have now given him a get out of jail free card insofar as an interaction with me. He successfully pulled off the prevaricate methodology. Okay, you just granted him approval of this.
I don't think so. I don't think that's. I mean, he's not going to be talking to you anymore. So, but I do agree that he's
No.
prevaricating
Because
against
you're
you.
not holding his feet to the fire, you've granted approval to his get out
I
of
think
jail
what
free
Darth is
card in
saying
regards to me.
is that if you're going to have a separate conversation with him, Jay, at this point,
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
getting out of answering the
You've
question that was
allowed
clear.
him to cheat in his verbal interaction with me, and now we push that game aside and you're starting a new Monopoly game. So now you see what he does is a strategy of stalemating the interaction by cheating, by giving diversionary prevaricating responses. So you allowed him to win that Monopoly game. You just granted that to him.
Yeah, I don't agree with that assessment. But
Oh,
that's
okay. Oh, really? So you're starting a new Monopoly game, aren't you?
perhaps. But we're going to see how
Okay,
that goes.
let me ask you this question. When they play these verbal Monopoly games, one of their strategies is to stalemate to the bitter end so the conversation goes nowhere. He just pulled it off, and you just granted the completion of the Monopoly
Huh.
game, and you allowed his cheating to go
Huh.
by without being punished.
I would take a slightly different take than Darth on this, but if he doesn't ever get to be confronted with that question that he dodged, then on that level, I would agree with what Darth said.
Yeah, you'd have allowed
Now,
him to win the Monopoly game of stalemating.
Yeah, because
Yeah, no, I
Can I ask
agree with you that
they,
he did. There are certain clear questions that were asked of him and he didn't answer them. But I'm not going to ask
Yeah.
those same
because he
exact
died.
questions. I'm having a
Good. So
slightly
you've
different
granted
conversation.
him a
Nice.
win by cheating.
can I add
I
another?
don't understand how that's true, but
Of
Yeah,
course you
they,
do,
the
because
reason,
now you're switching the
uh,
conversation over to you. So he won the stalemating game.
well, he ended the conversation with you, and that's the end of that conversation. I
No,
don't
he
know how
didn't
that
end
winning
he
or
didn't end the
losing.
now I
conversation.
moved him down to the audience when he refused
Yeah,
multiple
you
times
did.
to answer a clear
Okay,
question.
you can
And
continue, Jay, but let's make it very clear. You have now let him off the hook from my clear dichotomous question that he keeps on prevaricating.
haven't
So if I'll say one last thing I'll say. If you want to switch the conversation over to you, that's fine. But you have granted him to win the monopoly game of the discourse by cheating through prevaricating and resulting in a complete stalemate.
but having said
Okay,
what I
but
said,
can I?
also I hope you recognize, and I have confidence with you, Jay. You're a smart guy. If you begin discourse with them, I would hope you don't allow him to do the same thing again. That's all I'll say.
Well, he
Yeah,
allowed
well,
to do it
I'll
with
end the
me.
conversation with him when I think that he's being. I mean, I do this all the time. I mean, I end conversations with people when I think that they're not going to be
Well,
productive.
how about this? How about the moment it's clear he's prevaricating, if you ask him a direct, precise question, that now he's shown that he's a full blown deceiver because he already showed his prevarication in full display in dealing with me. So if he prevaricates once with you, then you should eject him.
Yeah, that's noted for sure. Thank you. Um, so Mulder, the question I remember when you joined and you were talking, you finished the conversation about transubstantiation. You were asked why you're an atheist, and I didn't hear a clear answer to that question. So why are you an atheist?
I think I answered that, didn't I? Think I said because I was raised secular. I was never indoctrinated with faith-based beliefs.
Okay, does that make your atheism rational?
Pardon?
Does that make your atheism rational?
Well, it makes my lack of theism rational, yes.
Okay, so you believe there is no God, correct?
Yes.
There is no God because
There is no God because I don't know why there's a reason that there's no God. That's sort of a strange question.
Yeah,
That's
how
not
does this
okay.
how
Stop,
does this
stop.
follow
There's
Naturalism?
nothing strange about that question.
He's prevaricating.
Wow, wow,
So there
dude,
you
it's
go.
so
Strike one.
obvious what you're doing
Strike
now.
one. Let's see how many times Jay tolerates it.
There's
Strike one.
if
Hold on. Let me
hold
clarify.
on, hold on, hold on, stop,
The
stop. If
question,
we
why
stop,
is
stop,
there no
stop, stop,
God?
stop, shut up, Mulder. If we were to tell you we believe in God, you're going to clearly think we got reasons for that or not. And if we don't have reasons, I would like to think presumably you would say that that's an unwarranted view, especially given the fact that you believe that it's based on indoctrination and everything else in between that you stated. Now, if we say we believe in God, either we're going to have reasons for that or we're not.
Okay, let me just
So
end the
when
conversation. I was just
so in the reverse, that's going to apply to you as well. And then you say it's a strange question. You're being very dishonest right now.
No, Tone. It's or
Mulder,
Tone or
this
Tone.
question
It's
is not. This
because you're
question is
taking
very
a positive
straightforward,
position.
Mulder, Mulder. This question is very straightforward. Okay. Um, do you live in the United States?
No,
Where do you live? What country?
Canada.
Do you live in Canada?
Yeah.
Um, did you get the mail today?
No,
Have you had a package anytime recently?
no.
Have people had packages recently in your neighborhood? Presumably.
Presumably, yes.
You believe that?
Sure.
Okay. They have packages because they have mail because why?
They have mail. That's a weird
Because
question. They
it's
have
not a real
mail
question.
because they
It's
got mail delivered.
because there was a delivery person and they transported the mail. So why was that? Why is that not a hard question for you to answer?
Because it's
And
an
it's hard for
everyday
you to answer
question about
questions about.
everyday occurrences.
It's hard for you to answer a question about. Well, you believe that God does not exist, and if it's a rational belief, you're going to have an account for that, right?
No, this is what you guys don't
Do you have
understand.
any, do you have any justification for how it is the case that there's no God?
There isn't any needed.
You see this? He's doing it again.
Okay,
Wow.
when you say, hold on, let me make a quick comment. When you
Well,
say God is not needed, hold on. When you say God is not necessary or God is not needed, that is simply a reformulation that God does not exist.
yeah, that's true.
No, it's an answer to the question why. What
No,
was
it's a
your
statement.
question, Jay?
Hold on, hold on. It is a statement of equivalence. Okay? When you say God is not necessary, God is not needed, that statement is an absolute negator of one of the central characteristics within the definition of God, that God is the necessary precondition of all things that are not himself. So when you say God is not necessary or needed, it's simply a reformulation of the direct denial of God. It is not an answer to the question why there is no God.
Not only that, he's special pleading when he says he can. Well, we would need a reason for why mail is delivered, but we don't need a reason for why God doesn't exist. So he's special pleading to the God explanation or the God view as opposed to everything else.
Do you have an
Okay, so
argument? Do you have an argument for your position, Moses, that there is no God?
Do I have an argument for my position why I don't think there's a God?
Well, you believe there is no God, right? Is that a conclusion to some argument that you have that you're willing to
Yeah, I
present?
mean, I accept kind of the natural world as my worldview, and I don't see, um, you know, like to me the idea of God as a candidate explanation of anything is unnecessary. It's
It
it's
seems like
never
he's
been
taking.
presented in my
yeah,
It seems like
worldview.
he's taking the natural world as a
yeah,
default position,
yeah.
which falls in line with what Darth said to
Why
the
is
negation of
naturalism
the God
true?
view.
Yeah, why is naturalism true?
How is naturalism a negation of the God view?
Naturalism, anyone who knows anything about one-on-one philosophy, naturalism is that
I'm not
the
a
only thing.
philosopher.
Okay, this is very simple. Naturalism is the only things that can and do exist are the natural world. Okay, the natural physical world, matter, energy. Okay, Now, naturalism is a subspecies of atheism. There are some atheists who are not naturalists, but most atheists are. When you assert naturalism, that's just simply a subspecies of God denialism. Okay? So naturalism is true because
Naturalism is true. Why I think it's true? Is that what you're
yeah,
asking?
yeah, this
I
is
wanted
like
to have the
pulling
convers.
teeth.
I want to have the one-on-one with Mulder. Okay. So Mulder, yes, that's the question on the table right now. Naturalism is true.
Naturalism is true because it's our objective reality.
Yes, that's a restatement of the claim. It's begging the question.
Wow, what a
How
What?
disaster.
is it begging the
What
question?
was that?
Mulder, no, naturalism is true because Mulder.
Yeah, I answered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying it's objective reality is just simply a
Hey,
restatement of a
Can
Vecco,
question.
I
that's
can
that
I ask a simple
1993 atheist answer, Vecco.
Yeah,
can I
it's
offer
right
a
up there with
simple
the
argument?
regime of validity, right there.
Can I offer a simple argument for God?
Regime of validity.
No. Let me continue with Jay
You
for
know
a
why
minute here.
God exists and we know he exists? Because he's our objective reality.
Yep, same thing.
God is your objective reality.
Yep.
Yes. Is that
Is that a
is
fact
that
that
is that
God is
okay
your
to you? Is
objective
that okay for
reality?
you?
Is
If
that a
somebody
fact? Is
were to
that a
say that?
fact that naturalism is objective reality? Is that a fact?
Yes, that is a fact, Darth.
Good, then unpack that.
It's a fact that the natural world is our objective reality.
Yeah.
No,
How does that? How does that
natural
apply?
world, no, that the natural world is all that there is.
I didn't say that. I said the natural world is our objective reality.
That's what
No, sir, no,
naturalism
no.
is. That.
Okay. Yeah, objective reality. When you use the word reality, does reality mean the set of all real things?
It can.
Okay, no, okay.
What
You
is
see the prevarication there. Okay, you know what? Get
Darth,
rid of
we
this
weren't
guy.
talking. I
You
was
see
talking to.
this? All right, you see this? The guy. This is what he does. He has the mind of a defiant 15-year-old ADD kid who didn't take his Ritalin. Why you put up with this? I mean, it's a clown show. Get rid of him.
Darth, just let them go. Just let them go, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let the
So
clown
this
show
is
continue.
I want to fully explain, fully understand. Okay, and eventually, just at this point is going to the point of fully expose the position that he has. Right. So I want to have a one-on-one. Okay. I know we have a lot of people in the in the stage, but I want to have a one-on-one with Mulder. Okay. So Mulder.
All right,
Okay.
I'll step out. Okay.
No problem. Mulder, you are an atheist. You're a naturalist. You said when I asked you naturalism is true because you said it's just going to be objective reality. Do you understand that that's just a recapitulation of the claim?
How so?
Because what it means for something to be true is just that it's going to be conformant to objective reality. Is that what you believe? If something is conformant to objective reality, then it's true.
Sure.
Okay, so then to say that objective reality conforms to that naturalism conforms to objective reality, therefore naturalism is true, is just begging the question. You're just saying A, therefore A. So can you present your case for naturalism? That's not a question.
Sure, we can demonstrate that facts exist in the natural world. Right?
I'm not understanding how that's a defense of naturalism, because facts also exist in the world where naturalism isn't true.
Do they?
Like, for example, we have, I'm not a naturalist and I believe facts exist in the world. So how does that in any way
Like
disprove or
what fact?
establish truth of naturalism?
Can you let me know what fact you're talking about that doesn't adhere to naturalism?
Yeah, I'm talking to you right now. That's a fact.
Yeah, in the natural world.
Okay, so then, okay, now what I'm understanding is you're doing the same thing you just did before. Okay, are you saying that all facts are facts, or all states of affairs are natural states of affairs, or physical states of
I wouldn't necessarily use the word physical,
Okay,
but
is that what you're saying?
No, I just said I wouldn't necessarily use the word physical
Okay,
to
so
describe all
give
states
me.
of affairs.
That's what naturalism is. You're going to be naturalism does not have room for, at least as I understand it, non-physical uh, objects, unless it does, or unless you believe it does, and that's how you're taking it to be.
Yeah,
But
I believe it does because there's some things that aren't material, right? That you can't say are physical objects.
so what is naturalism to you?
I don't really have a definition for it.
I think a better question too would be ask you what do you mean by natural?
Can
Say
I?
there's natural.
Hey, Nick.
Go for it.
Look, earlier in the conversation, and Jay, you can just kick me out if you think this is unfair, but I think this the problem is you're running after naturalism when Mulder never made that claim. But I think it would be helpful to revisit the disagreement, Mulder, where earlier in the conversation you said that Christianity is not a respectable belief, that it's childish.
That's not what I said.
Why? No,
That isn't what I
anyone
He
can
said.
did.
go back
He
on the
did
tape.
make a
That
claim.
is exactly what you said.
You actually did say that, Mulder.
No,
He
I
did. He
said
did.
some of the rituals in Christianity were not worthy of respect.
No, that's not
You
all
said
you
the
said.
beliefs. You
Yeah.
said the
He
You
made
may
beliefs,
have
but
quite. He
taken
not.
made
it
quite
to
a few.
mean that, but that's not what I said.
You made quite a few positive claims in this discussion. I'm sitting here listening to you, and you've made quite a few positive
When
claims.
you say just
Okay, sure.
when you say the rich, what Jimmy was his name is Jimmy, but when you say the rituals are disrespect, whatever you said, or childish, whatever. That's just to say that tenets of Christianity are childish, which is just to say that Christianity.
I don't
Moreover,
think I
you
used the
did
word
know.
childish. I used the word.
Yeah,
I
you
think I
did.
used the term
You
not worthy of
absolutely did.
respect.
You
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 said it.
did
You
use
absolutely.
Called
childish, but
death.
whatever term we want to
Well,
use, whatever, it doesn't
this
really matter.
is.
You said childish, not
Okay.
worthy of respect, a
I
combination
will.
thereof. It really
I'm
doesn't
gonna.
matter how.
I'm gonna leave too. I'm just gonna raise my hand. Like, yeah, this guy's a total waste of time. See you guys later. Have a good day.
Clear, Jimmy.
I did hear the term death cult too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Would you deny that Christianity is a death cult?
yeah.
Yes, I would deny it. Yes,
I didn't know you.
Okay, so you don't worship someone who died,
that's not what a death cult is.
and
Well, what's a death cult?
you're not. Basically, a death cult is a.
No, you got to make it up now.
No, I don't. I'm just trying to come up with a good definition.
Yeah, you
Um,
got to make it up. In other words, right? No,
Death
death
cult is
cult.
someone who holds tenets of their belief system that
Well, we don't wish people dead. For one, we don't
Yeah,
worship dead people. That's number two.
you don't worship dead people.
We don't.
a
You
We
death
worship
don't.
Jesus.
We
a
don't
death
worship.
cult.
We don't.
I'll
Jesus,
tell you what death cult is not. A
Jesus
death
doesn't.
cult is not talking about one person that died. That's not a death cult.
I think you're mis.
Yeah, and by the way, Jesus is not dead. So
Before we go
No,
on,
but you
Before we got any
before we go on this, I
adhere
don't
to
think it's
beliefs
before we
that
go any.
suggest you're going to get some reward or have some destination
that's
after
when
death.
no,
a
no,
death
the gospel doesn't talk about
a
death. It
death
talks about
cult a
yeah.
death cult is where death itself is the idol, sir.
Before we
We
go on
don't
to this too
take
far,
death
Yes,
as an idol.
He's so dishonest.
death is the
before
idol.
yeah.
This is just
You're
target.
working
Before we go on to this
towards
too far, Jay, I don't know if you want
salvation in death.
Mulder. Hold on a second. Hold on, Jay. Do you want to continue what you were saying? Because you said you want to have one-on-one. So, do you want to go back to what you were talking about?
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
my
we can
apologies, man. Go ahead, Jay. I'll shut up.
no, no problem. Um, yeah, this won't take very long because yeah, it's starting to mold it. I mean, you've been asked very clear questions and it's very obvious, right?
It's kind of been
Um,
bouncing around a bit here, Jay, so I don't know how that's clear.
well, I was asking you, for example, God does not exist because, and you dodged that question, right?
It's not a dodge, it's a nonsensical question to someone who has no concept
No,
of
it's not
God
because
or doesn't.
no, that's not true. Because when I asked you a question about, packages in the mail exist because, and you answered that question without any problem. Okay.
Because packages
So just saying,
exist.
so just saying
I have a concept of packages.
that does, listen. All I'm asking for is for you to give a justification for the belief that you have. That's all I'm asking you for. Okay. So, can you present again? Do you have an argument or a positive case for atheism?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and give it.
God's existence is contingent on the existence of the supernatural. The supernatural does not exist, therefore gods cannot exist.
Okay, so supernatural, just talking about like non-physical things or something. Is that what you're saying? Or non?
No, things that don't conform to or break laws of reality, laws of nature, causation.
That's just a claim, or is there
So you're saying
evidence?
that if God exists, you're saying if God exists, he's going to violate the laws of nature?
The
Is that
existence
what
of
you're
your
saying?
God
Or violate the
requires
laws?
that he defies the laws of nature based on
But
your own
you
holy
need
book.
also to account for the
So
laws of nature.
hold on one second, no time to so okay, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with saying the laws of nature if we're just talking about, the laws of physics and that kind of thing. Because God, of course, is not a physical being. He's not a material being. He's not a temporal being. But then now you're saying that the supernatural does not exist. So how does that follow?
How does what follow? That the supernatural doesn't exist?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. The natural world is what exists. That's our objective reality that you and I share. We can look at the natural world and agree that it exists, point to something supernatural, and demonstrate that that exists.
Jay, can I interject
The
quick?
problem is that when you're saying that the natural world is all that exists as a argument for saying that the supernatural doesn't exist, you're making a question.
I'm not begging the question.
Yes, you
You're
are
Yes,
proposing that
you
there's a
are.
supernatural.
because
Yes, you
you're
are.
saying
These
you're
guys are over
saying that
talking me with bad mics.
you're saying that the reason why it's the case that the supernatural does not exist is because, and one or more premises is going to just say something about the fact that naturalism is true. Okay, and that's what you're saying. So
No,
if
I'm
that's
saying
if
the
natural
natural
or
world is
naturalism
all
is the
that
same,
exists.
is equivalent to saying that the supernatural does not exist.
I,
That's what we
Okay.
tried to explain.
Anything above and beyond our objective reality that we want to posit exists, what is the criteria for saying something what's the criteria for saying something exists or has the potential to exist?
It's the wrong
I
question.
think
Jay, can I
that
ask a
that's the
question?
question we were asking.
Petangelo, you're not in this conversation.
Okay.
I mean, that's the question I would have just posed to you, Mulder. It's just to say, what is the criterion given an experience is not supernatural? Any experience, for that matter.
Exactly. So why would you assume anything is supernatural?
No, I'm asking you that question.
And
What's
that's
the
the answer.
criteria for ruling out an experience, any experience, as supernatural?
What's the criteria for ruling out anything?
Well, it's going to depend on the claim.
Yeah, that's
But that's
Right.
at the outset. We're asking you this is because you made the claim at the outset
No, but
that you're
your
that,
worldview asserts that there's supernatural things.
and you made the claim that the world is natural and it's
That's
not
right.
super, and
And
it
it is.
excludes the supernatural. Okay, then
Are
what's the
you
criteria?
denying that the world's natural?
Yeah, but well, let's not switch the burden of proof here. The burden
This
is
is what
on
you
you.
guys don't get. The burden of proof is on you. It's not for
Did you
me to
not make?
negate
Did you?
something that
Okay,
doesn't have any can it the supernatural or gods aren't even a candidate explanation for anything until you can demonstrate that they are.
no, that's not how this works. That's
So
not
I
how.
have
That's
This
not
no
is
how the burden
burden to
works here.
negate them.
You
this
when you
is
make
just low
you're making
tier
claims.
atheist. Wow, bro.
It's not. This is not pertinent. No
No, Tone, it's you coming from a worldview without being able to consciously think about the worldview from another perspective.
Do you
No.
realize? Do you realize?
Basis of my saying everything's natural.
yeah. To the exclusion, of course, to the exclusion, of course, to the supernatural.
Because nothing's supernatural. Nothing's been
Yeah.
demonstrated to be
That's a
supernatural.
universal
How did you
claim.
determine that?
Pardon?
How did you determine that? I mean, this is the same question's been asked of you 5 times in a row now. How did you determine?
How did I determine that everything is natural and that nothing observed is supernatural?
Yeah. What standard of proof are you using to determine?
Because nothing observed is supernatural.
So, I mean, both of us would agree that you're not going to use your empirical observation to discover or observe supernatural phenomenon. So, how do you use what? Or let me put it this way: what is a standard that you use to determine that nothing is supernatural? That no state of affairs or no event is supernatural.
Again, I believe all there is the
I know what
natural.
you believe. So, what is this? What is the
Okay.
criterion you're using to establish that belief? Or do you just believe it for no reason?
The belief is based on the lack of evidence or the absolute,
That's an
That's
appeal
a
to
non
What, what's
ignorance
the
sequitur.
fallacy.
criterion?
That's
What's
a
the
non
Darth,
criterion
you're
sequitur.
not
That
in this,
to say
man.
that
that's
there's
appeal
no
to
evidence?
ignorance fallacy.
Darth, go back down, Darth, please.
Yeah. Well, do you want to deny that's an appeal to ignorance fallacy?
No, I just don't want to talk to you.
Do you know what the appeal to ignorance fallacy is? Not hearing an answer.
He's probably not going to respond to you at this point, Dark, to be honest.
Well, he just committed the appeal to ignorance fallacy.
Yeah, I
I
know
was
he
halfway
did.
through my sentence when you piped up, buddy.
Are you going to answer the question,
Yeah, I
Mulder?
don't know how
Can
old
you
you are,
repeat it?
but you
I've been
act like a
distracted here
defiant
by this guy.
15-year-old. Grown adult acting like a 15-year-old.
Uh, I get it, Dark, but
Darth, you're a man in his
just let
60s that
Jay
acts like an
interact with him,
11-year-old.
because he's going to use the fact that you interjected as a way to get out the question.
I mean,
No, I'm
I
not.
think he's being exposed right now at this very moment because it's a very simple question. So I mean, this is perfectly fine, right? So
Okay, so ask the
Mulder,
question again.
yeah, what's the criterion you're going to use to establish that something is or is not supernatural? What is the standard that you're employing here that you're judging everything by?
I don't take the supernatural as any kind of a candidate explanation for something. I
What is
don't
the
believe that it
standard?
exists.
What is the standard you're using to determine that something is not supernatural?
I don't need a standard to negate something that
So
I
you
don't
don't.
believe
All
So
right,
has
I
then
the
the
think this
answer.
is
So then
old. I
the
possibility
think
answer.
of
this
So then
is
the
being.
answer is you don't have a standard.
this is going
No, I do have a
nowhere,
standard.
Jay. With all due respect, man, this is going nowhere. He just doesn't want to justify his claims. He's not
I
stupid.
want to.
He's doing this on purpose, and we all know it.
Yeah, I want him to admit that he doesn't have a standard. You don't have a standard by which you're judging these things.
No, I do have a standard.
Okay, so what is a standard?
The standard is that everything is natural.
Yeah, what's the standard you're using to determine that that's the case? Yeah, silence. Okay, so he doesn't have a standard. He
I'll take
doesn't have a
I'll
standard.
take I'll take prevarication for 300, Alex.
All right. I think everyone on this audience or in the stage is Christian here. John, are you a Christian?